Today's weather update video, we're going to be talking about the severe weather threat across the United States over the next couple of days, as this will be impacting millions up to millions of people across the country. We also are going to be talking about in those severe weather storms about some excessive rainfall with the chance of flooding in areas across the plains and as well as the Midwest possibly. And we're going to be talking about how the tropics have been eating up with our new hurricane about to be forming and potentially new tropical storms or even hurricanes forming in the future across the Atlantic. Today, September 21st, we do have ourselves a slight risk, mainly across north central Texas and southern Oklahoma, anywhere really north of the Dallas Fort Worth area around Wichita Falls. We could be seeing some stuff. And with that, our biggest risk is going to be the hail risk, which we do have a 15% chance of across where our slight risk is. We also do have a 5% that does extend across Kansas City and St. Louis, and as well up here in South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and places near Minneapolis, Minnesota, could be seeing that very isolated chance of hail. We do have a wind threat, very different from the hail threat, that is going to be extending from Texas all the way through the Ohio River Valley up into Canada, where we could be seeing very isolated but possible 5% chance of wind risk across this whole area that I've circled. We do have a tornado risk. Again, this isn't really like actually kind of weird, but we do have a very small tornado risk down here, mostly in Texas, but a little bit in Oklahoma. So really, any places along the Red River will be in this. And then we also do have one up here in southwestern Minnesota, where we also do have that very isolated 2%. So areas around Sioux Falls, South Dakota, be weather aware of that. And then anywhere, north of Dallas, Fort Worth area, be weather aware of that as well. Day 2, we also do have a slight risk, this time for two different areas. One over here in kind of southern Kansas and central Oklahoma, and the other over here in southeastern Nebraska and Iowa, mainly around the Omaha metropolitan area. We do have a larger marginal risk that does surround anywhere from Texas to up to Nebraska to Wisconsin. We even do have one over here that stretches from Canada down to Tennessee and Kentucky that could be impacting some people as well. And our biggest risk is going to be the wind risk, which we do have a 15% chance of in our slight risk areas, as well as a much larger 5% chance, again, extending from Wisconsin down to Texas. And we even do have that 5% chance that extends throughout the Ohio River Valley from anywhere from Tennessee up to Canada. Then we do have a tornado risk. We have a 2% mainly over here for places in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas, which you're going to have to be weather aware about. So isolated 1 or 2 tornadoes here and there could potentially happen. Day 3, we do have a marginal risk. I do see the chance of it there being a slight risk across anywhere like the mid-Mississippi Valley, but we do have ourselves a marginal risk extending anywhere from Texas up to Kentucky, which will be impacting like the DFW area, Little Rock, Memphis, even up into Nashville. Could be seeing that marginal risk as well. Looking over the HRRR models throughout the rest of today, we could see that already at around noon, we have the storms kind of over here in Texas and Oklahoma right now. They're moving through, Oklahoma City and Tulsa. We even do have some storms moving through Kentucky as well. This is not like current radar. This is like at 1 p.m. like future thing. I am making this like an hour later than that, so this may be a little bit off, but right now we do have storms kind of moving through our, places in Oklahoma, as well as even places in the Ohio River Valley could be seeing some of these storms. As we kind of move through evening time, we can see that those storms will begin to intensify. We have quite a bit of stuff happening down here in Oklahoma and Texas, very isolated pop-up showers and storm cells that could be producing, isolated bits of hail and as well as wind. Up here towards Kansas and Missouri, so Kansas City and St. Louis, maybe even Wichita, could see those isolated storms, having that isolated wind, damaging winds, and as well as large hail. We even do have a lot of isolated cells throughout the Ohio River Valley, even down into Tennessee, where those storms will be kind of moving through the evening time. Then when we get towards midnight, that's when things are going to really begin to ramp up. Most of the planes are going to be done for now. All this stuff is going to be moving east, kind of into the Ozarks, into kind of the Midwest sections. They're going to be moving east over time. Even down here in southern Minnesota, near Minneapolis, those storms will be moving through, as well as our stuff happening over here in kind of like the central Appalachians towards the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Those storms, they're not going to be really severe. They're really going to be more like heavy rainfall related stuff, so we just don't need to watch out over that. And today we do have ourselves a slight risk of rainfall. We have a 15% chance moving through eastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, even southwestern Missouri. This will be impacting a small population, but that flooding threat is real and existing. We do have that 5% chance over here in kind of the southwest towards Arizona and maybe southern California. And then around that slight risk, that risk will extend from Kansas, Texas to Illinois. We don't have a 15% chance at all. However, we do have that 5% chance extending from Kansas to Colorado up to Ohio, maybe along the mid-Ohio River Valley up to, and then still down here in the southeast, we still have that 5% chance. Day 3, we do have ourselves a slight risk, mainly for places in Arkansas, Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, where we do have that 50% chance. By the way, large 5% in both areas, over here in kind of mid and southern California, and over here anywhere from Colorado, Wyoming, all the way over to, again, the mid-Ohio Valley, and then south as the DFW area could even see. So it's actually going to be quite a big risk. And then talking about drought, the drought has been very existing across the eastern part of the country, especially places, around where Missouri and Tennessee have been having that. Some areas across Ohio and West Virginia have been very dry as well. I can't confirm that. Even up here in the northeast towards Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire, we have that up to extreme risk. In the plains, that drought has been improving. However, across the eastern part of the country, it's been getting a lot more droughts. Even in fact, yesterday, where I live, finally had rainfall after 2 weeks without rainfall. Typically, on average, like every 3 days or something like that, we receive the rain. So it's been very dry where I live for the most part. The West Coast isn't really improving, but it's also not really getting worse. Still, some areas are in that severe to extreme drought. Maybe some areas are abnormally dry to moderate drought, but the eastern or the western part of the country is kind of like near normal average for drought. Temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. Majority of the country is going to be above average. Maybe if you're in like the southwest or maybe very central part of the country, you'll be near normal average. But for the most part, most of the country is going to be above average. 8 to 14 days. Again, most of the country is going to be above average except the southwest where it could be near normal average. Precipitation. We do have most of the country is going to be kind of above average for it as well. And then places very interior like the northern plains and the Midwest could even be below average for precipitation. Then within the next 8 to 14 days, models might be suggesting that northeast portion of the country, including the northeast and Midwest, could be in that. And then even over here, we have a large section of near normal average precipitation, which is good. We want that. And then kind of the southern and western parts of the country are going to be above average for precipitation. Across the Atlantic, we currently do have a tropical storm that is projected to turn into a hurricane, and probably by the time we get to, evening to overnight on September 21st, 2025. Right now it says it's a tropical storm, but I do think maybe even by now it could reach hurricane status, depending how long ago this is updated. Right now we have Tropical Storm Gabrielle, which is at 63 miles an hour and a pressure of nearly 1,999 millibars. Currently, the spaghetti models show it headed towards Europe mainly. But we don't really know after that when it gets towards Europe. It could, drop a lot of moisture across Western Europe, especially. So we do need to prepare for that, but that is probably going to be within the next, week or two. And then down here, we have two different areas. One which has around a less than 40% chance, a 20% chance of forming. And then we even do have a between a 40 and a 60% chance of forming over here, which has a 50% chance of forming. Currently, these are not tropical storms, but they could potentially turn into tropical storms. Anyways, that's going to be it for my weather update video today. So if you guys like to see a new one, make sure you guys like and subscribe for following updates and following videos that I post later. So I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.